with their apparatus shunned. A crumbling station hidden underneath a virgin screen to transform it into silence and grow from grey to green. He fancied Nora Norton, she did not fancy him. Indeed, his amorous intentions were invariably grim. He thought himself an ugly troll and cursed resentfully that he was not the kind of boy girls wanted him to be. One morning during PE, diverted from the course, he alighted on a railway bed attracted by a force. He could not explain nor fully understand. It wasn't what he wanted, it wasn't what he planned. He traced an ancient path where the railway used to run until progress was barred by what some councilmen had done. A mysterious tunnel blocked by a metal fence perplexed and frustrated him, it really made no sense. He pulled at it, he kicked it, he shouted and he swore, until exhausted he decided he could do no more. Suddenly behind him a teenage boy appeared, dressed in shabby running kit and frankly rather weird. "You're wasting your time, Morgan," was what he said. "You should bring some proper tools to do the job instead." How the devil does he know my name, Morgan thought, but he kept silent as the boy seemed a nasty sort. However, quite determined to destroy that metal fence, he agreed to meet the boy again in 3 days hence. A claw hammer, a crowbar and a screwdriver or two were quite sufficient, Morgan thought, for what he had to do. He saw Susan Beale and Sarah Bailey by the road. They thought him rather boring and their attitude showed. They poked an injured cat in the eyes with a pen. It's sadly true they could be rather callous now and then. They asked him why he wore a boiler suit on such a day, then said they would accompany him much to his dismay. He told them of the tunnel and the work he saw to do, and as they approached it, that boy was there too. Wayne's opinion of the day was definitely poor. Paul Fenton introduced himself, the girls liked what they saw. With lascivious fascination, they widened their eyes and scrutinized the bare expanse of his calves and thighs. But Paul remained indifferent, his attention on his work, and eventually the girls decided he was just a perk. Wayne resented their intrusion, this was his secret place, and found it very hard to hide the anger from his face. "Why do you wear those PE clothes all the bloody time? Because walking naked in the streets constitutes a crime. Now shut your face and help me pull this barrier away." Yes, Wayne thought he really should have stayed in bed that day. Paul proved to be immensely strong, the fence fell apart. Wayne tried to understand him, but where would he even start? Paul ignored the girls, his attention stayed on Wayne, who soon began to wonder if this boy was really sane. At the end, confronted by another fence with which they must contend. The tools Wayne had were insufficient, this they clearly knew, so they ran back to the other portal, not sure what to do. At school, Nora Norton invited Wayne to spend Saturday at her house. He thought he'd found a friend who may yet develop into something more. This was a new experience he'd never felt before. For her younger brother, he built a rabbit hutch, although the little brat plainly didn't like it much. Nora stated Fenton was malevolent and wild, probably a mentally defective problem child. Despite her warning, Wayne agreed to meet the boy again on Thursday during PE amid torrential rain. He carried heavy-duty tools to ensure success, determined to destroy that fence and leave it in a mess. Amid all the smashing and crashing, they fought to destroy that fence, during which Wayne thought he detected a demonic aspect of Paul he really did not like at all. After the exercise they shared a fizzy drink, and that was when Wayne began to think maybe what Nora said ought to be respected, for what the boy did next was highly unexpected. Sat next to Wayne, he began to masturbate, muttering profanities I'd rather not relate. Sickened and disgusted, Wayne leapt to his feet, dazed and bewildered, his confusion complete. Later that night at home, he had a dream in which recent events were not what they seem. On the right, Nora waved to him, urging him on. Paul sat opposite, all hope gone. On Thursday, Nora said at 6 Wayne could pay a visit. It's hardly a surprise he jumped for joy, is it? After school he had another hour to wait, and what he did next is a matter for debate. He took a final trip to the railway bed, fell down the embankment and bashed his head. He stood up and cried out in surprise, unable to believe what lay before his eyes. The rails and sleepers were restored, apparently of their own accord. He entered the tunnel and heard a call. At the other portal he saw Paul. He waved a response which Paul ignored, with a wave of resentment he could ill afford. Annoyed, Wayne began to run toward young Paul to demand an explanation to make sense of it all. This is why initially he never heard the noise of the giant locomotive so beloved by many boys. Too late he realized the danger in that sound, as gigantic metal wheels crushed him into the ground. His final thought in the second when he died was that he should have stayed by Nora.